to the Big 3 podcast powered by G Media. On today's show, we have Captain Kirk from Kaleidoscope. Now, you might be wondering what Kaleidoscope is, and most people are, because it is a digital NFT project that is going to give you access to things that you've never had access to before. So, as always, folks, let's get to it. What's going on, Kirk? Welcome to the Big 3 podcast powered by G Media. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, Akil. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast today.
Well, thank you so much for joining. You know, I've become kind of like a silent fan of yours, silently, because I just think that what you guys are building with the NFT project is pretty cool. And the fact that a lot of you guys are Omi homies and VV guys. So it's always nice to build together and see what you're creating. So Kirk, just give the community a little bit of background about your career path in Web3, in digital technologies, in the metaverse, in NFTs.
Sure, of course. So a bit of background about me. I started my entrepreneurial journey, I think about 2013, 2014. And around that time, I just wanted to have my own business. And one of the first businesses I actually wanted to sort of start up was a social media company. And at that time I said, I think this was before LinkedIn was even a very active media, but Facebook was on its rise. But the problem was a lot of the times your family was in there, but then you had to mix all your posts with all the parties that you go to university or college, and you're sharing it with your family, your mom, your dad, your uncle, so the whole family sees what you're doing. So
you don't want them taking pictures of you playing beer pong.
No, we just didn't want that. But I said, I wish there was a social media just dedicated for the for the university students, university life, and that's really where I started my journey, and I wanted to explore what can be done. So after looking into that project, I met up with a billionaire in another university and asked him, I'm just starting up as an entrepreneur. You've built $1 billion business before. It's one of these guys who helped start up Yahoo. And I asked them, where do you start? And they gave me a list of different questions like target market, how is customer acquisition, how do you retain, what is the user retention rate, or what is the unique value proposition of your business idea. And all these big words started flashing, and I said, I don't know anything that he's trying to say, and he's on top of this mountain of success, and I'm not even at the bottom. I'm not even in the same maybe area. I'm just looking at it on a postcard. And I said, how can I reach that top? And I said to myself, no, I'm not going to reach that top. Instead of me going to his mountain, I'm going to build my own. So literally, that's the start of my journey. Started a couple of business over the years, went through, I got introduced to Bitcoin around that time as well from a good friend of mine in Cambridge. Told me to buy some Bitcoin, but just like most people said, you don't understand what it is, but you wish you did. And fast forward, moving a couple of years later, I got involved in the hemp and cannabis industry.
My man. Happy 420, everybody.
Happy 420.
Happy 420.
Which is a perfect day to actually have the podcast, isn't it?
Damn right.
Over the last about 5 years, I earned the title as the uncrowned prince of hemp, because I knew almost everyone in the hemp and cannabis space, especially in Europe. So I was involved with sustainability, bio plastics, paper, construction, clothing, all the utilities of hemp. And we were also looking into somehow integrating crypto and maybe tokenizing farms so that we can raise money in order to grow some more hemp in the country. So this is before the word NFT was around. Like, people were saying we got to fractionalize the farm and people can invest in it. And these were like big words as well that I just didn't understand. But, fast forward past the pandemic, I got involved into medical PPE, supplied a number of medical devices and uh, equipment for hospitals and other institutions. I made a bit of money there and started traveling during the pandemic. So I said to myself, now's the best time to travel. Traveled the world. I went to Spain. After I got to Spain, stayed there for 4 months, Brexit happened, got kicked out of the country, wanted to go back to the Philippines where I'm originally from. And on my way back, I literally I got stuck in Dubai for about a couple of months there because the Philippines got locked down. I couldn't go back to Europe because of Brexit, and the UK was locked down. So I felt like Tom Hanks from the Terminal.
You were a man with no country. You were like, I don't know where to
with
go.
No country. I said, like, I looked at the map and like the safest country to go was Libya or Iraq or something. It's like, wow, it's the only country that doesn't have any quarantine. So I stayed in Dubai. It's not really a bad place to get stuck in.
It's not a bad place to get stuck in.
Yeah.
You're like Libya or Dubai. I'll stay in Dubai.
I'm thinking about it because we're quite close to it anyway. We're in the Middle East. So, and yeah, so the first month I was there, we all know Hello K, one of my good friends. He told me that, hey, Kirk, would you be interested in learning about crypto and trading? So I wasn't really still interested in that time because for me, money's not really like a motivation. I just want to, my main goal in life was to change the world and make an impact. So unless it's something that can do something towards that vision, I wasn't really interested if I didn't understand it. So, so I asked my business partner to join K, learn about the crypto trading, then he could teach me. So, he started learning about it. And then at that time, that's when Vivi started coming in. And, Kay told us, so why don't you try this Vivi app? And and one of the first drops I ever got was the DeLorean. So I got that, paid $100 for it, went up to like $1,000, went up like 10x in like less than 4 hours. If you've been in business for a while, you don't see return on investment or ROIs like that fast unless it's a scam.
It's like, this can't be real. Who's pumping the market? Who's manipulating?
And people were trading on unicorns and a bunch of different things. So I had to go deeper and like, what is this NFTs? And that's really where, the journey started.
Well, I'll tell you what. So your journey in NFTs, not like anyone else's. I mean, coming out of PPE and, finding a way to make money. Listen, I've been trying to find a way to be you for like 30 years, but unfortunately I'm not. And you look like a young guy. So what are you, 30?
I'm 28.
Jesus. What am I doing wrong with my life? Probably doing a podcast right now on 420. But nonetheless, so you're not even 30. You've had an amazing 2.5 years of success. And now you guys have said, you know what, we're going to give people a pass to the world. And that's what Kaleidoscope is moving towards. You're giving people a pass to multiple worlds, right?
Yeah, it's really the access, a bridge to a new reality. That's how I would put it. And for me, looking at this, the growth of NFTs, it's almost like giving people a new opportunity to have a new identity online, or to share what they love to collect, or maybe even build communities on top of what they actually enjoy collecting. So it's not just about the brands, but it could be just a specific item that they're releasing, where you build a community around it. So and that's where I see the power of this Web3 NFTs and even the blockchain technology of being transparent, being somewhat decentralized, and giving people the power to guide their own future. And I guess when I started out with Kaleidoscope, and it's really the idea that what if you can have like an app that you can enter a virtual world without the use of headsets for the time being. because I kept laughing at people and I was like, you wouldn't go to Starbucks wearing like a VR headset.
I don't know. It's just running this shit.
I mean, we're doing that for the Mediterranean in Dubai. Like when we're launching it, we're actually, you can walk around the Dubai bar with a VR headset because we did a 1-to-1 scale of that bar. But the main idea is we're still a couple of years away before people are feeling comfortable using this virtual reality assets. And, we wanted to have like the very initial step, like, look, this is the next generation of the internet. We want to build the new experiences. And because the new internet is starting to blow up, we want to be ahead of the curve in order to be the ones to help make it more social. So it's not just about making money, it's really being able to express yourself in a new way and to relieve yourself from the constraints of real world storytelling.
So you're telling a story, but there's the digital way to tell a story, and then there's a physical way to tell a story. And you've been teasing for a while that there's an island that will be given access to some pass holders. Talk about that little gem that you threw in there.
So if you have a diamond pass or gold pass, I said to myself a while back, these NFTs are not going to hold a value if it just looks good and if it's a piece of art, because most people get bored very quickly. There needs to be some sort of a utility. And one of the keywords I came up with, or I would like to coin, is called perk abilities, which comes to two words, perk and abilities, to give different perks for a certain asset. Because you buy something and the first thing you ask is, what do I get for owning this, right? Mm-hmm. The first one was our collaboration with our initial investor, from the Colossal Bit. We launched the first ever metaverse bar in Dubai. And if you have a pass, you'll be able to have, let's say, a table, and then your pass will be on the table, and then this is reserved for pass holder now XYZ.
397. 397. Yeah. That's my number. I'm not lying. Pass number 397. So awesome. Fuck yourself.
So you can reserve a table in an exclusive bar in Dubai. And on top of that as well, to get some more benefits while you're there, because we're adding like augmented reality experiences on the menu. You can purchase NFTs in the bar while you're having a drink. Right. My family owns the island, so technically speaking, I can do whatever we want with it. So I said, look, we are in the middle of building a resort there. So I think we should finish a couple of villas there by October. So, and then the utility there is, I guess I would like to have some of the people who are part of this Kalos family to be able to come with us to have a little chillax time in a private island. And yeah, we got the monkeys, we got the trees. It's an island that's been featured in Born Identity and Money Heist. So it's still a very beautiful area. Just think of it as Thailand, but without the tourist.
Well, the G Media squad might have to take a trip out there, or and I know David's probably gonna be looking at me like, Akil, I don't want to go to a fucking island. And I'm like, no, we want to go to this island, man. It'll just be a couple of us. That is so dope.
That's it. Well, we want to give some more utility as we go along, and we have a lot of fans as well in the US, so we'll see if we can add some more utility there, in home turf, and even in Europe as well, so that if you're traveling the world, if you have a pass holder, then people will recognize that, and you can get access to different benefits. So it's all about creating this global accessibility. And then we move forward to, that's just half of what it can do. And, the other side is the metaverse. So now you got your real world, and the other side of it, you got the virtual world too.
Now, first off, how pissed is your family going like, yo, you're just giving away our island? You're just inviting people over here. You're like, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
It's access to the island. But, we are working on a separate project for probably the resort part, where we will probably invite people who'd like to invest, but it'll be a totally different project, not just for this island, but there's a couple more of projects that I'll probably showcase down the line for people interested in real estate in Asia, and a number of different things as well. So this is just the first iteration. There's like a couple more that I can't talk about till it's a bit more solid, but at least you can see it's real. I was there last week, you know. A couple of my team members said, Kirk, you're just like going there for a holiday. And I told them, no, it's for work. It's research. It's.
I'm working. I'll be working. I'll have my phone with me.
Surveying. I'm surveying, just checking if the island is still okay. I just want to make sure it's still there. It's a pandemic, so
got to make sure everything's all right. The monkeys aren't going crazy or anything. It's interesting. So I've never been to the Philippines, and actually, the year that the pandemic started I actually had my trip to the Maldives canceled. So I'm kind of like I'm jonesing for a good vacation. But we got to make sure. I mean, I think we all are. I mean, because, here in the United States, it became more problematic to travel because everything was shut down. And I'll be honest, I don't have a private plane or anything. I mean, I got a friend that has a private plane, but he only invite me on it, but once a year. So thanks, buddy. Everyone's got one friend that's like, yeah, man, you went on 12 vacations in your private plane. And how many did you call me on? 0? Okay. Just want to make sure that he knows that when he sees this episode that I'm still holding that grudge. But
well, tell him to add some Diamond Pass utility there. So, we got a number of people might be interested to rent out that plane or
yeah. It's the Petro. It's the Petro that's so expensive. He always tells me. It's like, it's the Petro, man. I got to buy Petro. And I'm like,
well, it's cheaper fuel when you do it together.
Exactly. I'll throw you a couple $100. We can all throw in, you got 12 seats on it.
And that's the point of having community. So, when people come together, you can pitch in and it's cheaper. So
yeah. It's more affordable. It's not cheaper. It's just more affordable.
Yeah, it's more affordable. Yeah.
And plus, nobody likes to lose money, right? And I think that's the part of the NFTs that you guys are developing here is saying, nobody loses money. They all can earn money. And speaking of earning things, you guys have just partnered with a previous guest that I had on my podcast. Talk about that partnership in a video game format.
Well, so one of our very valuable advisors is Venkatesh. So, he's been well known in the community for quite a while now because of he's involved with Vivi. So they were there at a very early stage developing the app. And, we met him by accident when we presented the first version demo of Catalyscope. So, we met him in Dubai and somebody told us, hey, this app that you're developing is very similar to this app that we developed called Vivi. I was like, really? Like who's, and our boss is over there. And then Kay and John went to go and see him. And, Kay started fangirling over him because he knows everything about him. So I said no, and I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who he was, and I went to see him, and I pitched him the idea, and even then he wasn't interested or didn't see the potential of what we're doing. And anyway, so we kept on just keeping in touch. I had a chat with him by video call, and I arrived to London. So Kay, John, and our director of engineering. John and Kay, the three of us went to his office and just literally pitched him the idea. And the first thing, after telling him what we're doing, and he gave us also a little bit of a speech of what they were doing, I said, Venkatesh, I'm just going to tell you straight up, can you become our advisor? And just like straight up, yes. And that's where, that's how our relationship grew. And over the last few months, we met each other. He gave us some advice on what direction we should take. His team has been helping us massively with the development of the 3D assets and eventually the new version of our app later down this year. So, Epico Regal is also starting to blow up as well because it's been a project that they've been working on for a while now. And, for us, it's a beautiful partnership because, they want to develop a community that they want to serve by creating this very unique game with a very unique story. And for us, we're a platform, we're trying to build a social media so that, people who don't know about this game can then maybe have a virtual space where they can store that NFT, project it, and share it within this virtual world. So we can have an Epico Regal space storing Epico Regal NFTs. But if you want to get them or if you want to earn them, maybe you have to go and play that game. But then at least now you have a home. So this opens the doors for so many different iterations in the future. So I don't know, maybe you could be playing, I don't know, Resident Evil, or I don't know, maybe FIFA 2022 or something, and you unlock something, or Call of Duty. And then you play that game and then you unlock an NFT, but then you need to have a place or a home to showcase it. And that's what we're trying to build, like a home for your NFTs, virtual space exclusive to you. That in that space you can sell it. The space of the room or the metaverse is an NFT, and you store NFTs within that NFT.
NFT within NFT, and I think it's a great opportunity for gamers, for NFT critics and fans, and just people that really want to be involved in this space. And it will be using the OMI token, so they'll be powered by that. Sorry, I'm not shy. I'm an OMI maxi. If it's not Bitcoin, it's OMI. Those are the things that I'm buying, and Ethereum. Bitcoin,
just
Ethereum,
wait for our token. Wait for our token, then you'll see some magic there too. So
see, now you got to come hire me as an advisor, because I'll tell you. Listen, I do nothing but advise other people on all their craziness, but no, David does as well, because ultimately we do believe that good projects and good communities coming together can change the world. And hopefully this project that you guys are working on will help change kind of where people are able to communicate, show off, network, connect. Again, I'm more interested in that real life utility that you guys have brought to your project, because again, I'm not a gamer, right? I play video games, but I am not a gamer. And that's always an issue for me. It's because I'm not a gamer. I have a hard time really getting into these worlds, but you guys are uniting these worlds through video games.
No, not everybody's a gamer, and not everybody has the time. And this is where we're looking at this stuff. I mean, gamers, the artists, these are the first iterations of collectors that people will see. And then you have like people who are looking for more utility-based, experience-based. So brands, institutions will eventually start moving into this space. And again, they need to have a place to showcase their collection, or to showcase what they're trying to share, really. So, you could be, one of the projects that we are working on is the Great NFT projects, that is together with our partners, Sirius Shea, who works directly with the World Economic Forum. What if we can develop a virtual tree, geotag that with a project in Africa, and then you can then store that virtual tree in your metaverse on Caloscope. So now you can feel that virtual tree is not just a 3D model. It actually has a tie-up with something real. And that impact. So I told this story to my uncle, and when we showcased the video of this virtual tree, and that, like, when I'm putting money into this project, I get a virtual tree back. And then that tree will then be the money that I put in will support the growth and maintenance of that tree. He cried, because it feels like I'm actually giving something, and I'm receiving something in return.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm placing that virtual tree in my space, then you can tell a story. Like, then you have proof that you're actually contributing to something sustainable, because the blockchain, again, is transparent. And the next level of that at some point will be maybe carbon credits that we could tie up to virtual trees. And now you're trading in a new avenue. So, again, institutions, government bodies, companies, right now it's just artists, gamers, and and stuff like that.
And
A lot
degens.
of hype.
Degens, artists,
And
gamers, and
degens.
degens, as we've been. I'm referring. Listen,
Yeah,
I've
man.
got a lot of friends, and I've got, I'm probably like you. Like I've got like the 4 phone factor, where you've got like there's the business phone, there's the personal
Uh,
phone, and then over in the corner there's the emergency. Like I call it the bat phone. Like you
yeah.
only like 4 people have that number.
No, I have the same. I got three. I got three in my side. The fourth one I gave it to a friend, but I normally have 4 phones myself.
Yeah.
One for business, one for pleasure, one for Vivi. But, but
And nothing else. Like I've got
and one for Caloscope. That's for
Yeah.
testing. So
Yeah.
we got our purposes. But the main iteration here is that you got to have fun with what you're building, and there's not many chances in your life that you're building something that can create an impact, build a community, and also and not just that, to build a team that is passionate about what you're passionate about too, and surrounding people such as yourself, to create positive vibes, to share this with the wider world. That's what building a business or building legacy is about. That's how you change the world, by changing people.
Yeah, and you know what? Hopefully, when a couple of folks will see this podcast, and you'll go back home, and you're probably already at home because you're watching this. Because you could be watching at work, but hopefully your boss doesn't catch you because you might get fired. But if you are watching this, make sure you go home, or if you're at home, go hop on your computer, open your MetaMask wallet, go over and get on OpenSeas and check out Kaleidoscope as they are growing. There are no diamond or gold passes left, so you have to get them off secondary market. I'm not selling mine, $397. I'm not, because it's not going to be. I am the biggest hodler.
Price stable. I'm very proud in a way that the price has been it's still double from the retail price. So people who actually bought from the drop is still minimum double.
I haven't watched it. I haven't looked at it at all.
We're developing it with as much utility or real world utility and metaverse utility as possible. So, it's over time, it's a no brainer that it'll be valuable, but it's not about, it's not just about the NFTs. It's about the people that you bring to the project. They want to contribute. They want to feel like they're building something together. And, we're building a social media, not from like, hey, this is a piece of content that we want you to see. It's more like, this is a piece of content that us collectively as a community would like to focus towards, and maybe maybe have, like, I guess, Akil, maybe having your own a metaverse space based off of podcast. We could be having this podcast in the metaverse within Caloscope at some point in time, and that is not impossible. And
I'm not saying it's impossible. And you know what? It probably, our connection would probably be a lot better because both of our internet's like, what is going on? But yeah, I think, it is a possibility. And to be honest, I relish in the concept and the idea, my friend, that we can all be interconnected no matter where we are in the world. And I love it that here I am talking to you 250,000 miles away. And we're having a conversation because of Web3, but we are developing bonds that will last far longer than Web3's initial ideation, and that will expand and will build and will grow together. That's what I get excited about when I talk about these projects, is because it's building new technology with the idea of, hey, everyone can come in. Anyone can come in. It's not about your geolocation. It's about how far you're willing to take your mind and go somewhere else. And you guys are giving people an opportunity to take their minds and go somewhere else and explore the world.
Well, it's not just that. Like I said this to a friend of mine, that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to travel because of their family or their work or maybe their health. And, for Caloscope, we said, like, what if we can have a digital version of the island where you can just walk around in your own room, and then you can experience that beachfront just from your phone
Mm.
or from your device, and at least you have that inkling or that feeling that you feel like you're at least almost there. And when you like the one of the first spaces that I ever tried out on Caloscope was Andy's room from Toy Story. So, I said I expanded that room, and then I started walking around Andy's room, and I said, wouldn't it be cool if I can keep my virtual assets here? If I had like, some of my NFTs, I can then put it in Andy's wall because it's a room that people would recognize. And then I was chatting around with some of my team members. Saying like, what if you had the Bat Cave and then you can keep your Batman inside the Bat Cave, right?
Oh, that'd be dope.
So it's all about, because no one's looking at virtual spaces. It's not a very common, there's not many people looking into that realm, and we want to be that first movers for this metaverse experiences, because there's also a very strong nostalgic factor when you enter the virtual space that you remember from your childhood.
Mm.
So, I was walking around with my baby sister, and I showed her SpongeBob, as she was growing up. And I showed her, hey, look, I have SpongeBob's room. We're inside SpongeBob's room, and she's walking around, on her phone. And she's 18 now, but she remembers those days when she was watching SpongeBob, and she's walking around SpongeBob's room. And he said, oh, what if I could put, my NFTs here, right? So the possibilities are endless, really, in this virtual space. And, we want to have that exclusivity. Like, it's almost like we're buying all this stuff from all these shops. Everyone's opening another shop, an NFT shop here, a website here. But then you don't really have a home to bring it back to. You have your own room, you have your own space where you keep your stuff, but in the NFT side, there's actually no home for it.
You're just holding it on your MetaMask wall like an idiot. Like, until somebody comes and steals it, let me just hold it here.
Or take a screenshot of it and say, hey, can you share me what you got? Take a screenshot, and then that defeats the purpose of having an NFT in the first place, because it's about digital ownership. And you screenshot your that 2D image so that you can share it again. It's it's confusing.
Listen, I only, the reason why it was so difficult for me, and I was actually freaking out because I couldn't get my Diamond Pass initially, was because I was like, I don't use OpenSea. Mm-hmm. I'm a Vivi guy. Like, I tell people, I'm like, I like the augmented reality of Vivi. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I got into that, because, and also I felt like it's safe. It's like, at least it's in one place. And when I move it out, I'll be able to move it where I want to move it. So I'm patient. A lot of people are not patient. They want their shit right now. They want it. They want what they want, and they want it right now. Give me my stuff. But I'm like, nah, man, I'm patient. I'll let projects build. I
mean, it's also about communication. So, when you communicate with people, almost every other day, then patience it can be pushed back. For like, it's all about just being able to answer the community when they're asking for questions. And one of the nicest things to have sometimes is, being the CEO or being the leader of a company, like they want to talk to the guys who are, involved with this stuff. I know they're busy, but having 2 minutes of your time just to laugh at a joke or put a meme or like that's what's missing, I feel like, on some projects, because, that's that factor that, I never, had a chance to speak with the head of the company. Mm-hmm. I was always taught that, you got to treat, your workers the same level of respect as you treat maybe the janitor. Yeah. Right. The CEO and the janitor should be respected the same way. And, one of the closest team members you got is your customers and your users. If you don't build that relationship with them, then, then trust is just based off of the platform. You want to, people love Elon Musk because he's being genuine, he's being interactive with whoever that wants to chat with him on Twitter.
He's engaging,
He's engaging. And that's what I want to be. Like, I want to be accessible, well, not as much as I can within the platform. and to be able to answer some questions, if our team is unavailable to answer them. And, it's being part of that journey because they feel like, oh, we're still very early into this thing. I want to give some advice. I want to give an idea. And then, and then they have that clout to say, yeah, I was one of those guys who gave them that idea, and they're now building it and integrating it within their platform because they listen, and that's what we want to build, a community that's engaging, a project that inspires people, and really the gateway, well, we call it the metaverse in your pocket, accessibility at its finest.
Right on. Well, Kirk, we have come to our time together. So if you want to have some final thoughts, I will open that up for you. Anything you want to say to the community? Obviously, I want to be respectful of your time, considering what time is it over there?
It's about almost 1 a.m, actually. But I have another interview moving forward after this. But if there's one thing I would have to leave with the podcast is that, it's about having to dream or to just have a goal in mind. Everybody doesn't know what they want to do, but that's okay. People want to follow a leader or follow a project or follow somebody who's trying to build something, even if they haven't built it yet, because that's where you get the inspiration from. When I was starting out with my business, I always tried to talk to either people who are super successful and the people as well who are building something, even if they fail at doing it, because you learn from their mistakes, you become a better person, and you change yourself in a way that, like, what, if I'm going to do a project, this is what I'm going to do better next time. It's being able to pick yourself up, look at other people's mistakes, look at your own mistakes, improve it, and then be vulnerable and say, look, I've done something wrong, and I want to do it better next time. And also give yourself the benefit of just congratulating yourself, because when you realize going through this pandemic, you've got people who are, unfortunately, they had to go through some hardships during that time, and you want to give back. And I was blessed to be one of those guys during the pandemic to do pretty well. And that's why I always try to go back to the very roots. And coming back home here, I've seen it in with the people that work with me. And yeah, the future is built by people. So let's build it together.
Well, Kirk, I think you are an amazing CEO. Thank you for joining us here on the Big 3 Me podcast powered by G Media. And I appreciate your time. And for you, the fans, remember, join us here on Goxstein Media, G Media, every week for your AMAs, your podcasts, and all sorts of good stuff. I'm your host, Akil Patterson of the Big 3 Me. Have a great day and an even better tomorrow.